Once upon a time, in a quiet village tucked between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a man named Arman. He was known to everyone, not for his kindness or wisdom, but for the worn-out blanket he carried and the empty bowl he held wherever he went. Arman was a beggar wandering from street to street, hoping for scraps and coins to survive another day. Yet, despite the sympathy of the villagers, he always seemed trapped in a cloud of despair. Every morning, he would wake up to the same thought: why is life so cruel to me? The world around him moved on. Children ran freely with laughter, merchants sold their goods with bright smiles, and even the wind seemed to whisper joy in the trees. But Arman only saw what he did not have. He blamed fate, luck, and even the stars above for his misery. Each day felt heavier than the last, until one evening something unusual happened. As he sat near the riverbank, watching the sun dip behind the hills, an old traveler approached him. He had eyes that seemed to see right into Arman's heart, gentle yet piercing, like they carried centuries of wisdom. "Ah, you look troubled, my friend," the traveler said, sitting beside him. Arman shrugged, muttering, "What's the point? I have nothing, and life gives me nothing." The traveler smiled softly, reaching into his satchel to pull out a simple piece of paper. On it were written just 3 words: "A change your mindset." Arman laughed bitterly. "I've tried thinking differently, but nothing changes. I am a beggar." "That's my life." The traveler didn't reply immediately. He simply pointed to the river, where the reflection of the sun danced on the water's surface. "Look closely," he said. "The water does not complain about the rocks it touches, nor the wind that ripples it. Yet it changes every moment, becoming something new with each passing second. You can do the same." Those words lingered in Arman's mind long after the traveler had disappeared into the fading light. That night, under the dim glow of a lantern, he thought deeply about his life. He realized he had been carrying not only a physical burden, but a mental one. His mind was trapped in scarcity, fear, and resentment, and it had shaped every day of his existence. He had blamed the world, but never himself. For the first time, he wondered, what if I change my thoughts? What if I choose to see possibility instead of lack? What? The very next morning, Arman decided to try something new. He didn't have money or tools, but he had one thing: his mind. He started small, greeting the villagers with a smile instead of a plea, helping children carry firewood, and offering words of encouragement to anyone who seemed weary. At first, the smiles he received felt strange, almost foreign. Yet slowly he began to notice a shift. People no longer ignored him. They began to see him, not as a beggar, but as someone with kindness to share. Days turned into weeks, and Arman discovered a new strength within himself. He found a small abandoned shop in the village and decided to clean it, arranging what little he had to sell handmade crafts. Each day he worked tirelessly, pouring love and care into everything he created. Villagers started buying from him, not just out of pity, but because of the beauty and effort in his work. One day, a young boy asked him, "Arman, how did you change your life?" Arman smiled and said, "I didn't wait for life to change. I changed my mind first, and life followed. Arman's story soon spread beyond the village. People came from far and wide to meet the beggar who had transformed his life simply by changing his thoughts. He still remembered the paper the traveler had given him, and he kept it carefully folded in his pocket. It was a reminder that real power doesn't come from wealth, status, or luck. It comes from within, from the courage to shift your mindset and believe that change is possible. Years later, when Arman looked back at the man he once was, he didn't feel shame or regret. He felt gratitude for every struggle, every harsh day, because they had led him to this truth. Life mirrors your thoughts. When you embrace hope, kindness, and persistence, even the smallest actions can create miracles. Arman often told anyone who would listen, "Your mind is the greatest tool you will ever have. Feed it with courage, nurture it with positivity, and your life will transform in ways you cannot imagine." And so, the man who once begged for scraps became a symbol of hope, a living testament to the power of changing your mindset. The village that once overlooked him now celebrated him, not for what he had, but for who he had become. And Arman, with a heart full of gratitude, would often sit by the river watching the sunlight dance on the water, whispering to himself,
The moral of this
"When you
story is
change your
simple but
mind, you
life-changing.
change your life."